Stash fans. Again, always unannounced from the bunker. Going back to a favorite topic of everyone, UFOs. Episode 2. Gonna rant about UFOs. How is everybody? Anybody on? I got one viewer already in the very popular, world famous Stash YouTube. Where did we leave off? UFOs. Time pause. Remember that? Anybody seen the vintage from the early 90s? The X-Files, the best. Well, as much as I like TV shows anyway. The X-Files, there was a time lapse. Let's that be our topic number 1. As Agent Scully and Mulder entered this some town somewhere in America, which I believe was filmed in Canada, but they made it look more or less like America. UFOs on an all-American topic, the Foo Fighters for World War II. I'm going to do an exclusive blog on a book that a guy wrote about UFOs of Poland. There were a lot of cover-ups because they were under communism. I guess there's a lot of cover-ups in any political system of the UFOs. But anyway, remember that one? That was great. There was a talk of implant victims in episode, 1 of the X-Files, and Agent Scully thought she had some implants, and she rushes over to Mulder's hotel room, and he's like, it's okay, they're mosquito bites. It's wild. The implant thing was used quite successfully in the remake starring Denzel Washington of The Manchurian Candidate, a favorite of Stash. A favorite of everyone, it should be. Okay. UFOs. Time missing. Time lapse. Let's look into this together. Alien abduction is also called the phenomenon alien abduction syndrome. A UFO abduction is a personally held belief. UFOs were red tails seen over the Outer Banks. Some scientific explanations for alien abduction time lapse. Again, as admitted in the excellent Joe Rogan show, I had an F-18 fighter pilot. Basically footage released of unexplained crafts. So I don't think there's any question that there's something that's been reported on the Drudge Report, which is, semi-alternative news site. So it's an interesting phenomena. I love Communion by Whitney Schreiber, but I've come out saying that his latest one seems very like he wanted to be. How can I put it? Dominated by a UFO dominatrix being entity. I don't know. That's what it sounded like. But maybe he was. Most scientists and mental health professionals explain these experiences by factors such as suggestibility, false memory syndrome, sleep paralysis, deception, and psychopathology. Skeptic Robert Schaefer seems similarly between the aliens depicted in science fiction films, in particular Invaders from Mars, 1953. And some of those others reported to actually have abducted people. People claiming to have been abducted are usually called abductees or experiencers. I'm sorry, sometimes I go to some basic material for those of you advanced, but we have to build our way up, because in episode 3, maybe 4, we're going to be going into the more. I'm going to consult people in this field. I have in here an excellent TV show by an incredible Boston comic. A UFO abduction experience ruined an absolutely promising career of a Boston comic, Fred. Simply Fred, or whatever. He had, he was looking to be on the level of a Stephen Wright, but he had his own style. Went through an experience and it ruined his career. He ended up being a cab driver in Connecticut somewhere. So I'm going to leave that in the liner notes here. Did he do DMT? Did he drop too much acid? Did he do this and that? I don't know. But you can tell from, I've never seen him live. You can tell from comedy bits pulled on this show that, and I think he won, which is now the defunct, famous Boston or whatever New England radio station, WBCN, one of the legendary rock stations of the United States of America. He had won that, and the experience had broken the man. He had, as he stated, and I believe it is true, comedy is based even more than theater acting, which some people can get through certain things without confidence. With if their look is right and their voice is right and their body movement is correct, they can kind of still do it. But comedy, I can attest to, is 100% thick skin, iron will confidence, and the man was broken. And I'm going to leave the liner notes, a television show that done abductee experience of him and some other individuals. Quite frankly, I think that something happened to him. Okay, the guy, and he had reached out to me a long time ago. I think he's thinking of doing his own documentary. I don't know if he can swing it. I don't know. How's everybody doing? Anybody got any UFO stories? Put them in the chat if you'd like. I know I'm not that great at YouTube. I just get on when I want. But I hope I've made some good friends on here this way, and better talking to one or two cool people than talking to a million people randomly, right? Sometimes. Okay, so the UFOs appear to be typical claims involve forced medical examinations that emphasize the subject's reproductive systems. Again, I apologize. I'm just going from Wikipedia to open this discussion, but I think it's a good source in terms of opening a general discussion about this topic. We are now on episode 2, my friends, of Stash, talking about UFOs. Have you been abducted? Do you have a friend, family member? Continuing, were you part of Project Blue Book? Anybody who has a detractor on this, we've got to say that this is a worldwide phenomenon, no doubt. Part of apocalyptic and millennial narratives. Yeah. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction of 1961. That was a huge case up in New Hampshire. Let's go into that briefly. I did last time. Let's go into that briefly. 1961. Oh, I lost 2 viewers. Shit. Well, it's Sunday. You got to work. Okay. They were an American couple that claimed to be abducted. This is Betty and Barney Hill by extraterrestrials in a rural portion of the state of New Hampshire, September 19th to 20th, 1961. It was the first publicized report of alien abduction. The incident became to be known as the Hill abduction or the Zeta Reculi incident. They stated that they had been kidnapped by aliens who claimed to be from the Zeta Reticuli system. Most of Betty Hill's notes, tapes, and other items have been placed in permanent collection at the University of New Hampshire, her alma mater. The University of New Hampshire Division of Historical Researchers marked the site as alleged craft with a historical marker. Barney Hill did pass away in 2004. He was a postal worker and a civil rights advocate. Indeed, I'm going to put some of this in the liner notes. Arriving home at about dawn, the Hills assert that they had had some odd sensations and impulses they cannot explain. Betty insisted that her luggage had been kept near the back door rather than the main part of the house. Their watches could never work again. I've seen firsthand that people who are very good at practicing Qigong, which I often mention on this channel, the art of Qigong, breathing, energy work, meditation, people who are really good at it, who get a lot of Qi energy in the body, I've seen it firsthand, it can stop watches. It can stop watches. That could be a parallel clue. Sometimes you have an area of knowledge, you can apply it to another one, right? So this is a good one. They said there were shiny concentric circles on their car trunks that had been not there the previous day. Betty and Barney experimented with a compass, noting that when they moved it close to spots, the needle would whirl rapidly. But when they moved it a few inches away from the shiny spots, it would drop down. So there appears to be, unless their case is a pure fantasy, we have right there some clues that there's some energy. There's a lot more to this case. Okay, this is where I want it. Missing time. On November 25th, 1961, the Hills were again interviewed at length by NICAP members, this time C.D. Jackson and Robert Holman. Although the Hills had noted that they had arrived home later than anticipated, the drive should have taken about 4 hours, as they were going 178 miles. They claimed not to have realized that they had arrived home 7 hours after their departure from Colebrook. Again, Simply Fred the comic claimed an abduction experience, I believe, on the way to a comedy gig or from a comedy gig in New Hampshire. So New Hampshire is a big state. New Hampshire's pretty big. People don't know. It has some very, very remote areas, even to this day. Okay, so the couple had no explanation for the phenomena that UFOologists call missing time. The Hills claim to recall almost nothing of the 35 miles of Route 3 from Lincoln, Indian Head, and Ashland. Both claim to recall an image of a fiery orb sitting on the ground. Betty and Barney reasoned it must have been the moon, but Holman and Jackson informed them that the moon had set earlier that evening. So they were consulting with people, professional ufologists, okay? The subject of hypnosis came up and it was decided they should be carried out in order to elicit previously inevitable memories. Barney was apprehensive about hypnosis. He thought it might help Betty to put it to rest. Then Barney described the nonsense about her dreams. In February 1962, the Hills were making frequent weekend drives to the White Mountains, hoping that the revisiting the site might spark some memories. They were unsuccessful at trying to locate the site where they observed a fiery orb sitting on their own. However, they were able to eliminate several possible routes. They found what they claimed to be the capture site on Labor Day weekend 1965. So this is a famous case, not anywhere near the Roswell thing, but, well, I guess it's on there. So, alien abductors believed their experience were real. So Johnny Mack, I believe he's the Harvard guy. John Wilson, Rena LaBarre, David Gottlieb, assessed that while psychopathology was associated to some cases, most reports were from sane, common people, contradicting the debunkers. Entire subculture, detailed mythos explaining the reasons for abduction, the various aliens. Again, as most of us probably know who enjoy sci-fi or whatever, Greys, reptilians, the Nordics, there's really good-looking blonde-haired people are actually aliens. I don't know why. It's kind of strange. Vikings from space. And now, when the advent of the drones, we're definitely talking probably different types of sites. 2 landmark cases. Okay, the Antonio Velas Bojas case did not receive much attention. Let's look into that. Farmer and a lawyer claimed to have been abducted. This is Mr. Boas, B-O-A-S. He died in 1991. He claimed to have been abducted by extraterrestrials in 1957. Those similar stories have circulated beforehand. Some skeptics say it's a hoax. So this is a Brazilian case, 1991. Let's go into this one a bit. Anybody out there? Give me your cases. So he was a 23-year-old Brazilian farmer at the time, working at night to avoid the hot temperatures of the day. October 16, 1957. He'd been plowing fields, named San Francisco de Salas. Give me saying that wrong. When he saw what he described as a red star in the night sky, according to his story, the star approached his position, growing in size until it became recognizable as a roughly circular or egg-shaped aerial craft with a red light in front and a rotating cupola. I don't know what the fuck that is. The craft began descending to land in the field, extending 3 legs as it did so at some point. So this one had we had the 3 legs. So this is right out of Amazing Stories. If you're like me, I like nothing better than the pulp novels, early comic books featuring Howard and Lovecraft and Amazing Stories. The cover art is unsurpassed to this day, and that's what they would have more. It was more simpler. Now the superheroes look like they're on steroids, and they have tremendously huge sex organs. So he says he was seized by 1.5 meter, basically 5 foot tall humanoid who was wearing gray coveralls and a helmet. Its eyes were small and blue. Instead of its speech, it made noises like barks or yelps, like yip yip. The female was very attractive and naked. So there was a female. She was the same height as the other beings he encountered, with a small pointed chin and large blue cat-like eyes. The hair on her head was long and white, somewhat like platinum blonde. But her underarm and pubic hair were bright red. Boas said he was strongly attracted to the woman and the two had sexual intercourse. During this act, Boas noted that the female did not kiss him, but instead nipped him on the chin. All right, right there. This case now is sounding like bullshit, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's right out of Amazing Stories. I don't know. But let's not. I'll leave it in the liner notes. He later became a lawyer, so the guy made his way up. So maybe this experience gave him game. I don't know, because he went from. Well, it's probably better to be a farmer than a fucking lawyer, but whatever. All right, so there's that case. I confess I've never heard of this case before. I mean, I'm sort of into this stuff. So this is episode 2. Again, we're going over the more political conspiracy theories. By the way, the most well put together UFO movies, probably Contact. Carl Sagan, even though he was a anti-Jesus hating scientific scumbag. Contact, although not one of the most popular alien films, is probably, to my mind, kind of the most well thought out. I believe it was starring Jodie Foster. See that one. Close Encounters of the Third Time is over the top, very popular and very dramatic, but yet, you know, if you were going to think it was scientific or get into that, at least that mood, that feeling of science. How about these people with bumper stickers that say, I love science? What does that even mean? I love air. There's also a big theme of this is that there are hybrids, people that are alien and human. That ancient aliens, that we are a mistake, or we are workers in mines. We are eggs and seeds that flew from Mars after they had a nuclear war. That there is an Atlantis, and Atlantis was blown up because of misuse of nuclear technology. Well, that's a side note. Who's the Eric von Dwarf of the Ancient Aliens? That, you know, the hieroglyphics and Sumerian translated writings. Definitely the Sumerians are interesting as 12th planet, Zachariah Stetson. Somehow the Sumerians knew we were the 12th planet, or whatever the fuck planet we are. Very interesting. Science. There is no science anymore. Science is political. Sorry. That's my opinion. That's not offensive. I don't think. I don't know. Is that offensive now? Okay, science is totally on the level and objective and absolutely correct. Where is somebody? Reach out. Crap. I guess it's too early. Sleep paralysis comes up a lot. The name John E. Mack comes up a lot. He died in 2004. He was of the Harvard Medical School, a big shrink, and he reached fame basically, pretty much, yeah, he reached fame as a researcher of the psychology of the alien abduction experiences. Was he a Scully? Was he sent to debunk? He was an activist during the Cold War. Face value, I wouldn't say I take them seriously. I don't have a way to account for them. The alien abduction phenomenon. So they, as usual, the liberals chicken out. Passport to the cosmos. People talked about this guy endlessly. I don't know. He initially suspected that such persons, that being those who consider themselves alien abductees, to be suffering from mental illness, but with no obvious pathologies were present in the persons he interviewed. His interests were piqued, following encouragement from longtime friend Thomas Kuhn, who predicted that the subject might be controversial, but urged Mark to collect data, and was piqued. Following encouragement from longtime friend Thomas Kuhn. Okay. Mack noted that there was a worldwide history of visionary experiences, especially in pre-industrial societies. I read this long book about Valis where he has numerous reports from the Old Testament, the Torah, of things that relate to what would be considered encounters with extraterrestrials or unknowns. Apparently many biblical and other religious texts in the archives, in the notes of Roman and Greek generals in numerous accounts. That's in the mix. Just saying that's in the mix. There's some other guy who was talking about parapsychology and crap said that stuff. I don't know. I must have stole that from some guy who said that's in the mix because I like it. It is in the mix. Maybe that's a cop-out. Investigations from Harvard. 1994, the Dean of Harvard Medical School, Daniel Tolston, or whatever, appointed a committee of peers to confidently review Mac's critical care and clinical investigation of people who had shared their early encounters with him. In some cases were written in one of Mac's books. 1994 book, Abduction. It was the first time in Harvard's history that a tenured professor was subjected to such an investigation. The committee chairman was Arnold Bud Relman, professor of medicine and social medicine at Harvard Medical School, New England Journal of Medicine. To communicate in any way whatsoever to a person who has reported a close encounter with an extraterrestrial life form that this experience might well have been real is professionally irresponsible. That is his comment. Think of that next time you want to send your kid to Harvard. They don't believe in UFOs. That's all I got to say about that. Upon the public revelation of the existence of the committee inadvertently revealed during a solicitation witness for Mac's defense, 10 months into the process, questions arose from the academic community, including Harvard professor Alan Dershowitz, regarding the validity of an investigation of a tenured professor who was not suspected of ethics violations or professional misconduct. So he had no. It was unprecedented. There were no ethical violations, no professional misconduct, and yet this type of investigation, I smell a cover-up. Concluding the 14-month investigation, Harvard then issued a statement stating that the dean had reaffirmed that Dr. Mac's academic freedom to study what he wishes and to state his opinions without impediment, concluding that Dr. Mac remains a member in good standing of Harvard's Faculty of Medicine. Anyway, over 20 years later, we're talking about footage out of F-18s of cool. Pedro Rojas Semantis. Yes. Give me some cases. Give me some cases. UFO cases, my friend. Anyway, that was one of the big things in the UFO thing, UFO case. John Mack. The Skinwalker Ranch, 512 acres, Ballard, Utah, reputed to be the site of paranormal and UFO related. That's why I like the Skinwalker Ranch. I think it's a mix. I think we're talking about paranormal ghost activity and UFOs over there. Utah. Utah is underestimated in its creepiness, my friend. Denver, I guess Denver's got that because they kind of blend in. Denver, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico. All weird. some reason I'm getting New Mexico might be the weirdest because of the Area 51. I don't know why. Investigative journalist George Knapp. I love him. I like the other guy who's on with him, and I like George Norrie. I like all those guys. The other guy has an even better introduction on there. The Skinwalker Ranch is very interesting. There's a book on it, and a guy has just bought it, the place, and it's on an Indian reservation dubbed UFO Ranch due to its ostensibly 50-year history of odd events. 50 years of events said to have taken place according to Kelleher and Knapp. It's an Indian reservation, just like the movie Poltergeist. The house was built on an Indian reservation, and it was bloody loaded with bloody ghosts everywhere. Ghost up the yin yang, my friends. Close to 100 incidents, including the vanishing and mutilated cattle, sightings of unidentified flying objects or orbs, large animals with piercing red eyes. So I remember early on in the book, they confront a wolf, and the family there living before the current gentleman fired. They knew guns, and they fired like a .357 Magnum on a wolf and a rifle or something. Or, I don't know. I just know that they hit him with the powerful handgun and the powerful rifle. Or maybe it was just a rifle. I don't know. Anyway, they laid down some fire. The Hopi in the Four Corners area have a lot to say. Four Corners, that's where those states meet, I think. Bigfoot-like creatures, poltergeist, crop circles, and unidentified flying objects. Now, the cattle mutilations have been part of the folklore in the surrounding areas for decades. The cattle mutilation thing always scared the shit out of me. I think they're claiming it's been debunked. I don't think it ever has. It's a weird thing. People who run the cattle, own cattle, whatever, work with the cattle, have talked about these mutilations aren't just hacking and this and that, like a hit on the head with an axe or a baseball bat or a rock or a knife or something. They've been reported to be like very, very precise. All right. That's all I'm saying. John B. Alexander. Okay. So this one is. Oh, amazing. Skeptic James Randi says it's fake. Of course, he says everything is fake. I don't know why he's involved in it. Because he's like Penn and Teller. They do magic and shit, so they know everything. I'm not saying that the amazing Randi and Penn and Teller aren't smart and shit. I'm saying that there are levels within levels. There are enigmas wrapped in mysteries, and there's also piles of bullshit mixed in with it, which I agree with. I'm of the mind that there is a lot of bullshit associated with things, but there's also kernels of fucking truth inside the bullshit, wrapped up in other lies, right? Linda Moulton House, A Strange Harvest back then. I dig her, but some nights she's a little boring, and then sometimes she's pretty cool. I don't know. I like her though. Sorry, Linda, I didn't mean that. It's just some nights, you know. Who's the other guy that wrote The Face on Mars? He hasn't been on for a while. Some of them have gone off. They're not. Well, some of them aren't on as much after Art Bell, right? Or maybe I don't tune into it that much. I don't know. Anyway, that show has one of the best theme songs. That by that Italian techno guy. My favorite book on this subject, by the way, is Rebirth of Pan, which is by a forbidden guy and a forbidden thing and hidden, and he's the best. He because you're not supposed to read him. He ties in some of these to do with people confront certain energies when they observe these things, including the Bigfoots. Richard C. Hoagland. Yeah, you dig Linda Moulton Howe more at the current time? Under she's changed for the better, I hope. Richard C. Hoagland is really good. Richard C. Hoagland, always loved him, always had the feeling that he was holding back. I don't know what you thought. I thought a little bit holding back. Probably had to, because I think he's a legit NASA guy. Many people have said that the face on Mars is, which is actually a lot of much cooler stuff to see on Mars. But the face itself is almost a distraction from deeper finds. Richard C. Hoagland, yeah. Face on Mars. I get the face on Mars one was his big one, right? Bud Hopkins. Randy called a useless study. Bud Hopkins. Oh, he's dead too. Oh, this fucking guy's a dick. It's too bad. American artist, author, and ufologist Elliot Bud Hopkins from Wheeling, West Virginia. He had an interest in drawing. Carolyn Rainey, co-author. They shared a mutual fascination and introduction. They've been married for 10 years. Witnessed. Okay, here's the one I want to talk about. The true story of the Brooklyn Bridge UFO abductions was published. 1996. Climate change. She's into believing the climate change. I'll give you my take on it. I think there is a problem with it, and it's being worsened, and the danger of it is exacerbated and could be the end of everything due to the geoengineering. Weather modification, geoengineering, very dangerous, could go out of control. That's my opinion in it. I don't know what you think, PRC. I think it is. I think there's I personally think from globalization, 1,000% open borders, 1,000% push on trade has hurt the environment. And I don't know about the solution to it. I don't know if it's really real. I don't know if it's realistic. It tends to be overdone. It's just another thing to club on the head of the common man. Yes. They should stop this weatherification. If you're listening, President Trump, end it right now. End it now. Let's go back to local growing. Try to keep communities planning, and overbuilding hurts everybody. I just saw a great sign that said overdevelopment, no one wins, or something like that. I agree with that. Let's stop doing it before the UFO people have to put us down to kick our ass. In any case, America. Where was I? Oh, that was one of the ones I want to talk about. That to my mind is a famous case. The Brooklyn Bridge experience. Hopkins worked to achieve harmony, clarity, and precision while maintaining a sense of mystery. Okay, so the true story of the Brooklyn Bridge UFO abductions. The book portrayed an abduction case that was alleged to have occurred in late 1989 near the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. The indulgent world of expressionism versus the geometrical art. He didn't like interesting UFOs. He is quoted as saying in a conference in Brazil, the aliens of the book of the world, War of the Worlds, and Independence Day do not exist. They are not out to destroy the planet. Neither are they the benevolent seeking to help mankind with their advanced technology. It seems that they come here to treat us as one gigantic experiment because they are having problems recreating. They're having problems recreating. I didn't know that. Oh, something for review. Interesting. Man is the enemy, so you can always blame the victim. I buy that. I dig that. That's right. Anybody else there? Jump in with your UFO cases. Nick Gurr. I believe that the UFOs made pyramids because ancient Egyptians could not succeed. Okay. Oh, you got me on that one. Bud Hopkins said that people have kind of a Patty Hearst syndrome type of thing. So their organizations, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, the Natural Investigation Committee on Aerial Phenomena. I've looked in. I enjoy this stuff, but I haven't really joined MUFON. I did fall for it. I'm sorry, man. I can't say it again. I can't say it faster. You bastards! We're talking about UFOs and serious shit here, you guys. Come on. Okay, he also had a book, Missing Time. Hopkins. His interest in UFOs and alien visitations was renewed on August 1964. Hopkins and two others reported experiencing a daytime sighting of an unidentified flying object, or UFO, in the form of a darkish elliptical object in Cape Cod in Truro, Mass. Truro. Hopkins told his account in the Village Voice in 1976. In 2016, we're back to the Skywalker Ranch. No, Skinwalker. A gentleman, Robert Bigelow, via Adamantium Holdings. A business guy has bought it. Okay, so in 2016, Bigelow sold Skywalker Ranch. He sold the ranch for $4.5 million to the Adamantium Holdings, a shell corporation of unknown origin. After this purpose, all roads leading to the ranch have been blocked. Okay, sensing a cover-up at the Skinwalker Ranch. Gaming click. Your message was retracted, you bastard. The pyramids, I don't believe that. They were built by people. People used to have better, there was less ADD. People, I think people used to build cathedrals and things better, and the pyramids were better. Than it. I don't think improvements are completely linear. That's my opinion. Thinking aliens built the pyramids is racist. Kinda, I guess. Including the Yucatan Peninsula ones. All right, so roads have been blocked off, the perimeter secured and guarded by cameras and barbed wire, and surrounded by signs that aim to prevent people from approaching the ranch. In 2017, the name Skinwalker Ranch was filed for trademark. The trademark was issued in 2018. In March 2020, Brandon Fugal, 46, a Utah real estate tycoon, publicly came out as owner of the ranch. 2029, fictional portrayal in an encounter with Skinwalker and the protagonist's lost tapes. Skinwalker Ranch film, 2013, loosely based on the lore. Hunt for the Skinwalker documentary, 2018. Portals to Hell. The Strawberry River Inn, featured in the episode, is situated a stone's throw from the ranch and is claimed to experience the same paranormal phenomena as Skinwalker Ranch. Portals to Hell. Project Blue Book, 2020, features Skinwalker Ranch, episode 7. Ancient Aliens, everyone's favorite, 2020, mentions Skinwalker Ranch in connection with shape-shifting beings and ancient astronaut theories. The Curse of Skinwalker Ranch, a television series on the History Channel, blah, blah, blah. Ground penetrating radar and drone thermal geography. They searched the property in an attempt to explain claims of UFO sightings and annual mutilations and paranormal events. Season 1 consists of 8 episodes. I lost one viewer. Anybody else got any UFO stuff? I gained a viewer. So there's already been a lot of popular culture shows. Cattle mutilations. Very scary. Bovine excision, whatever. Unexplained livestock death is the killing or mutilation of cattle under unusual, usually bloodless and anomalous circumstances. Worldwide, sheep, horses, goats, pigs, rabbits, cats, dogs, bison, deer, and elk have been reported mutilated with similar bloodless excisions. Often the ear, eye, ball, jaw, flesh, tongue, lymph nodes, genitals, and rectum are removed. Holy shit. Speculation is cryptoid predators like the chupacabra and extraterrestrials. Mutilations have been the subject of independent federal investigations. The Snippy Lady. Agnes King and her son found a dead body on her horse. Anyway. Physical characteristics. That's what he's getting at. Suction cup. Suction cup like wounds? I don't know. What do you guys think about the cattle mutilations? Is it real? Well, been on almost 50 minutes. This is slightly more interesting than part 1, I guess. In the summer of 2019, 5 bulls were mutilated in Silvis Valley Ranch in Oregon. It is estimated that each 2,000-pound bull was worth $6,000 USD. The FBI has made no comment on if there was an investigation or not in this particular event. $25,000 reward for information on the topic. So it's a problem. It's a problem. Cattle mutilations. Must be good for the cops. Blowflies have been implicated in possible scavengers involved in making livestock carcasses look mutilated. But how could they eat the cat? The action of feeding insects such as blowflies and opportunistic birds such as vultures. They direct themselves toward the animal's eyes and to enter the body through openings in the mouth and anus in order to feed on soft internal organs. Absence of blood is explained as blood pooling in the lowest points of the body where it will break down into basic organic. Blood is the external to the body, the area of the wound. Tears in the skin created when it is stretched by postmortem bloat and or as dehydration causes the animal to hide, to shrink and split, often in linear cuts. Incisions caused by scavengers or predators partially exacerbated. Longtime scientific skeptic Robert T. Carroll conducted by Washington County Sheriff's Department. During 40 hours, the postmortem bloating was reported to have caused incision-like tears in the cow's skin. Okay. Human intervention, animal cruelty, and human activity. Cults. Cults using satanic rituals. Harvesting. Mutilating. That could be it. Government or military experimentation. Underground bases checking for radiation. They want us to be afraid. They have always manifold reasons for everything they do. Oh, you mean regarding the cattle mutilations? Yes. Yes, and the debunkers come in saying incision-like things come from bloating. Predators. It's also the government. Yep, I think what Cervantes is getting at is the in 1997 article, Dead Cows I've Known, Cattle Mutilation Researcher. That'd be cool. What do you do for a living? I'm a cattle mutilation researcher. Charles T. Orflint speculates that cattle mutilation to be the result of covert research into the emerging cattle diseases and the possibility they could be transmitted to humans. Well, thank God they're on it then. Other federally funded bodies may be involved, and they are supported by the U.S. military. Part of his hypothesis is based on the allegations that human pharmaceuticals have been found in mutilated cattle. Right? The cattle are on fucking drugs. That's what the problem is. Bovine mad cow disease is called bovine spongiform encephalopathy. In a brief sampling of cases, 1979, 3 police officers in Duluth, New Mexico reported a mysterious aircraft which resembled the United States military helicopter hovering above a site, following a wave of alleged mutilation which claimed 14 cows. So they're not even asking, they're going to kill your fucking cow and experiment. But they got it because it's the government. Two unregistered helicopters, a white helicopter and a black helicopter, twin-engine aircraft reported to have opened fire on the deputy, Robert Smith Jr. No, that's a guy. He was operating his track. They opened fire on him. Citizen, you've witnessed the necessary cattle mutilation experiment for the national security purposes. You're on your tractor. You're about to be blown away. They've always alleged controlling cheap protein supplies. The Soylent future. Soylent Green are people. Soylent Green are people. Saul is alive. Upwards of 350 helicopter reports in and around mutilation sites. We're going into everything UFOs here. Has your cow been abducted? UFO reports being filed by law enforcement. A large number of ranchers claim to see black helicopters around their fields, coinciding with the cattle mutilation. So you're going to make fun of black helicopter people? They're out there protecting the bovines, you motherfuckers. Chupacabras. So, cattle rustlers, suspects, military option. Fort Riley, Kansas. Laser in the cattle. I've heard Bigfoot himself has been attracted to attractive cattle. I don't know. There is no racism by this channel. I were fooled by this man, by the way, YouTube. These are smart men in the chat field. Don't you believe it, YouTube? Vigilante groups were formed. What if you're an anti-government group that is there to help the cows? Travis Walton. One of the most famous cases that was made into an interesting movie, Travis Walton, which had one of the best posters, right? The Travis Walton UFO incident. He's still alive. He has a good mustache. Actually, he's in a good picture. Travis Walton was an alleged alien abduction of an American forestry worker, Travis Walton, by a UFO in November 5th, 1975. Is working in the Apache Stillgraves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona. Walton reappeared after a 5-day search. The Walton case received mainstream publicity and remains one of the best-known alien abduction stories. Skeptics consider it a hoax. Walton wrote a book about his purported abduction in 1978 called The Walton Experience, which was adapted into a 1993 film. Fire in the Sky is a good one. Fire in the Sky. Yeah, the Beyond Belief burgers. They want us eating these polyester synthetic fucking burgers. It's all in the mix. I hate to be making fun, but it's like funny. That's like I'm making fun, but it's shit I sort of believe too. It's just all in the mix, my brothers. Walton, according to Walton, in November 5th, 1975, he was working with a timber stand improvement crew in the National Forest in Snowflake, Arizona. While riding a truck with 6 of his co-workers, they encountered a saucer-shaped object hovering over the ground approximately 110 feet away, making a high-pitched buzz. Walton claims that after he left the truck and approached the object, a beam of light suddenly appeared from the craft, knocked him unconscious. The other 6 men were frightened and supposedly drove away. Well, his friends, that's how they backed him up. They fled. He claimed that he fought with the short, bald creatures. He observed 3 short, bald creatures. He fought with them until a human wearing a helmet led Walton to another room where he blacked out. So, as 3 other humans put a clear plastic mask over his face. Walton has claimed he remembers nothing else until he found himself walking along the highway 5 days later with the flying saucer departing above him. So he woke up in a hospital-like room observed by 3 short, bald creatures. He claimed he fought with them until a human wearing a helmet. So this is interesting. You have to mix some human activities with this. Remember, one of the greatest X-Files ones is when they capture him and they gas him, and he gets a look at the craft, and then they throw him back out the front gate. And I think he has memory lapse, and the sneaky undercover base guy says, "We're up to the task of something guarding here." UFOologist believe him. 4, 5 days, the authorities thought he'd been murdered by his co-workers. And then when he returned, all the co-workers were there who saw the spacecraft. They all took polygraphs, except for one that proved inconclusive. Travis Walton case, Snowflake, Arizona. Incredible, friends. Pedro Rojas and everyone. This has been a long show. Thanks anybody who came on. Sorry, I was just sort of reading from the internet, but I've opened up these topics for discussion. Anybody have any good UFO stories? This was a good basic primer. Episode 2 of Stosh. Let's talk about UFOs. Pedro Rojas Gaming, my friend. My friends, anybody who watched, I hope you had a good time. I'll see you on here soon. Please, no more racist pranks in the chat room. Unless you have something funnier. Cheers, brother. See you guys. No hard feelings. That was sort of funny, but in today's political climate, we have to ignore the hate and get down to discussing what really matters. That the visitors, as Bud Max said, some of them are benevolent. You're very welcome, my brother. I appreciate it too. And some of them are not. I personally think the extraterrestrials possibly may only mildly give a shit about us down here, but that could be wrong. All right, you guys. God bless everyone. Take care. Hope you're enjoying the Stosh channel. Sort of. I bring up a million topics and never quite finish them. But I'm continuing on. Look for episode 3 of Let's Talk UFOs coming soon, brothers and sisters. You're the best. God bless everyone. Take care.